My phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the kitchen counter as the words on the screen seared into my mind. My brother-in-law, David, the man who'd smiled at my daughter's birthday party last week, was plotting something so vile it made my stomach churn. I'd always trusted him, his easy laugh, his quick wit, the way he'd play catch with my son, Ethan, in the backyard. But that night, hunched over my laptop in the quiet of my living room, I stumbled across a Reddit account that shattered everything I thought I knew about him. It started innocently enough. I was scrolling through a local subreddit, looking for recommendations for a family-friendly hiking trail. A username caught my eye. ShadowedKin97. Something about it felt familiar, like a half-remembered dream. I clicked on the profile, expecting nothing more than a bored neighbor's rants about traffic or property taxes. Instead, I found a digital diary of obsession, meticulously detailing plans that targeted my family husband, Mark, my 2 kids, and me. David had been part of our lives for years. He was Mark's younger brother, the charming one who always showed up with a bottle of wine and a story to tell. He'd been there through every milestone. Ethan's first steps, Lily's first day of school, our 10th anniversary party. But the posts I found painted a different picture. ShadowedKin97 wasn't just venting. He was scheming. His words dripped with resentment, envy, and a chilling determination to reclaim what he believed was his. The first post I read was timestamped 6 months ago. "They think they're so perfect," he wrote. "Mark with his big house, his perfect wife, his perfect kids. He doesn't deserve it. I do." My heart pounded as I scrolled through his history. He'd been watching us, cataloging our routines. When Mark left for work, when I took the kids to school, even the nights we left the back door unlocked. One post detailed how he'd borrowed Mark's old phone, claiming he needed it for a backup, but really, he'd used it to track our locations. My skin crawled as I realized he'd been in our home, smiling while plotting behind our backs. I wanted to believe it was a mistake, that this wasn't David, but the details were too specific. He mentioned Ethan's soccer games, Lily's ballet recitals, even the brand of coffee I bought every week. The deeper I dug, the worse it got. He wrote about taking back the life he thought Mark had stolen from him, our life. One post, dated just a week ago, sent ice through my veins. "It's time to act. They won't see it coming. I'll make sure of it." I closed the laptop, my hands trembling. The house was silent except for the soft hum of the refrigerator. Mark was upstairs, asleep, oblivious to the betrayal lurking so close. I thought about waking him, but what would I say? That his brother, the man he'd defended through every argument, every reckless decision, was planning to destroy us? I needed proof, something concrete to show Mark, because I knew he'd never believe it otherwise. The next morning, I acted like everything was normal. I kissed Mark goodbye, drove the kids to school, and smiled through the routine. But my mind was racing. I started paying attention to David's behavior, things I'd overlooked before. The way he lingered a little too long when dropping off gifts for the kids. The questions he asked about our schedules disguised as casual conversation. I even caught him once, staring at our house from his car across the street, his expression unreadable. I couldn't confront him yet. Instead, I kept digging. I created a burner Reddit account to follow ShadowedKin97, without raising suspicion. His posts grew darker, more urgent. He mentioned tools he'd acquired, though he never specified what they were. He talked about an opportunity coming up soon, something about a family gathering we were hosting next weekend. My blood ran cold as I realized he was planning to act in our own home, surrounded by the people we loved. I started taking precautions. I changed the locks, installed a security camera, and told Mark we needed to be more careful about our routines. He thought I was being paranoid, but I didn't care. I couldn't tell him the truth, not yet. I needed undeniable evidence, something that would force him to see David for who he really was. The turning point came 3 days before the gathering. I'd been monitoring David's account obsessively, and he posted a cryptic message. Everything's in place. Saturday night it ends. Attached was a blurry image of a duffel bag, partially unzipped, revealing a glint of metal inside. My heart stopped. Was it a weapon? Tools for something worse? I screenshot everything, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. That night I showed Mark the evidence. I watched his face crumple as he scrolled through the posts, his disbelief giving way to horror. "This can't be real," he whispered, but the truth was undeniable. We called the police, showing them the screenshots, the photo, the chilling details of David's plans. They took it seriously, thank God, and agreed to investigate discreetly before the gathering. Saturday arrived, and we went through with the party, though every smile felt like a lie. David showed up, all charm and grins, carrying a bottle of wine like always. My stomach twisted as I watched him hug Mark, knowing what he'd planned. The police were nearby, waiting for the right moment. I kept the kids close, my eyes never leaving David. Then it happened. As the evening wore on, David slipped away to the garage. I followed at a distance, my heart pounding. Through the crack in the door, I saw him unzip that same duffel bag from the photo. Inside was a collection of items that made my breath catch. Rope, duct tape, and a small gleaming knife. Before I could react, the police moved in, silent and swift. They caught him red-handed, the bag still open, his face pale with shock. David's arrest was a blur. He tried to deny everything, claiming it was a misunderstanding, but the evidence was overwhelming. The police found more at his apartment: notes, maps of our house, even a journal detailing his hatred for Mark, his obsession with our life. It turned out he'd been spiraling for years, consumed by jealousy and a twisted sense of entitlement. He'd convinced himself that destroying us would somehow make him whole. In the weeks that followed, Mark and I tried to piece our lives back together. The kids didn't know the full story, only that Uncle David wouldn't be around anymore. Mark struggled the most, grappling with the betrayal of the brother he'd loved so fiercely. I held him through the nights he couldn't sleep, reminding him that we were safe now, that we'd protected our family. But the scars lingered. Every creak in the house made me jump. Every notification on my phone sent a jolt of fear through me, wondering if I'd stumble across another secret, another betrayal. I deleted my Reddit account, unable to stomach the platform that had exposed David's darkness. Yet, in a strange way, I was grateful for it. If I hadn't found that account, we might not have stopped him in time. What haunted me most was the question of why. David had been part of our family, shared our laughter, our memories. How could someone so close harbor such hatred? I'd never know the full truth, but I learned something vital. Trust is fragile, and even those closest to us can hide shadows we'd never suspect. As I tucked Ethan and Lily into bed one night, their small hands clutching mine, I made a silent vow. I'd protect them no matter what. I'd watch, I'd listen, and I'd never let my guard down again. Because sometimes the greatest threats don't come from strangers, they come from the ones we call family.